Okay, hello everybody, and good morning from my part as well. So my name is Jella, and I'm a food blogger and a food photographer and also an art teacher from Helsinki. So I've been writing this food blog titled Vaimom at School, which is a long story, what the name means, wife material. Anyway, I've been writing it since 2013, so that makes it also almost 10 years now. And in recent years also in English. So my blog is really all about kind of deep dives into creative cooking, all kinds of kitchen experiments, be it with the ingredients, how they're combined, or the different techniques. And I am really extremely passionate about anything related with food and food photography. And I'm really not a morning person. I don't know how many of you are. This is a super early morning for me. But I'm super happy to be here with everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much inviting me, and Design Museo for hosting this. And thank you, Asli, for all the delicious breakfast cakes. So I've actually been waiting for this day with fear and anticipation since December, I think, or something like that. That's when I was invited to speak at one of these CreativeMornings events, and I got a chance to pick a topic that felt like a good match for me. And just before we go any further, I don't know if you can see, my hands are literally shaking. So I just want to quickly address something. This is really not my comfort zone, speaking to you here, even if I'm a teacher and I speak all day, every day. I'm super nervous. And you can hear it because I'm having these nervous giggles between my sentences, and maybe you can see it because I'm really sweating, feeling like I'm blushing. And I really don't typically like to draw attention to these things. I'd rather look confident and professional, but I am here talking about acceptance, which will not play. Hello, my momentum. Where did you go? Oh, there we are. Great, well done. So please accept my nervousness and possible hiccups with the technique. I really try to do the same. Yes, so honestly, after accepting this invitation, I really had instant regrets, and I knew even as I was typing yes to Johanna, and I still said yes. And ever since, my mind's been giving me these really nice monologues on topics such as, come on, work. Hey. Why is this not working? There we go. Oh, this one, cancel it because you'll make a fool of yourself. Or, no one will show up. Here you are, thank you. And then there was this one, well, if they do, you're just gonna waste their time. Why would they want to hear you out? Because you're not successful and you're definitely not the best. And that's how it is when you are living with this kind of nasty critic inside of your head, non-stop going off with this kind of commentary. And I definitely got one. I've even given it a name. It's called the monster. I know, very creative naming, but I gave it the name in my 20s, and I mean, here I am in my 40s, and it's definitely still there. Well, here's the thing, dear monster, you are right. I'm definitely not the best, nor am I the most successful person in my field of creativity. I mean, far from it. I'm always really surprised if anybody's even heard of me. I don't know who's heard of me. Please, anybody? Thank you. There's my mom there. Thank God, you know I exist. So then I kind of start to think, what does this the best actually mean? And why would only the best or the most successful be allowed to be visible or heard in this world? And are these really the only things worth of pursuing? So despite of what this monster is telling me, I've actually had like the chance to work with various brands, Finnish and international, big and small, over the years. Like, it's a long time I've been doing this. And I do make some income out of this creative work. And of course, I've even I've done lots of things. Even the monster is trying to make me say no. For instance, I've been on live TV. Imagine that, this shaky person there, or live radio, and I survived. And of course, I also share my words and my recipes and basically my creative visions online every day, pretty much, free to be scrutinized by anyone and everyone at any moment. And I do all this despite the damn monster. So honestly, if I were to listen to it more, I would have missed out a lot in my life. So I keep saying yes, even if the monster says no. And I don't know if anybody relates this kind of horrible, degrading self-talk. You can maybe give me a tiny nod. Okay, I'm so sorry for you, and also so good it's not just me. Well, I think it's really important to pay more attention to what kind of words these monsters use. I mean, mine is telling me I'm not the best and I'm not successful. What does it actually mean? And why does this kind of self-talk get to me? And that brings me to the kind of reflection of what does this success actually mean? So in my field of creativity, obviously I'm really big, kind of my biggest sort of source of income for this kind of creative food-related work comes from Instagram. And the recipe is pretty easy. I think everybody kind of knows it, even if you're not in the business. You just create good content. Obviously, you need to reach an audience. You need to have them engage with you and engage back with them. Then you can grow your audience. When you've got a good audience size, clients will come to you. Then, of course, all you need to do is negotiate good deals and then provide good results. And then keep it going consistently, because that's what the algorithm loves. And just gotta keep it going, and then you're gonna know if you're successful or not by studying the data. So you go and research the numbers. How many followers do you have? Did you get good likes? Did they save it? Blah, blah, blah. Did they engage? And that means you have this kind of measurable data. You can actually measure the amount of your success. And also compare it with others. Why is this not working? There we go. I feel like this is an ongoing theme now. So obviously that's kind of simple, right? But it's of course not quite as simple. You need some specific ingredients to get started with. And first of them is time, because you need time to learn specific skills that are related with the field of creativity. It's really good to have some social skills so you can network and get connected with people online and offline. And then, of course, this is super important, you need time for creativity and creating. And so that you could start to make some money, and the money is the measure of the success, right? You also need to invest some money. Primarily, if you are doing photography like I am, you need gear and a lot of stuff. And then, of course, some kind of space. And finally, ingredients. Now, with me, it's kind of easy because I shoot food and all the food gets eaten. And we need to buy food anyway. And I need to cook stuff anyway, every day. So that's easy. And also I shoot at home. You saw a little video clip there of the secrets. Like, yes, everything is done on this little table. It's very DIY often. And obviously all the clutter is cropped out. So you don't see all the ugly realities of life, which is this situation here. So I really have this kind of little table in our home, and I share the space with my husband's very extensive record collection and a lot of laundry on the process of drying. And if I need more space, then I'll just move my stuff in the living room. So I don't need to use money for that. And that means like I have equipment, I have the space, I have the ingredients on the daily. I do have a lot of passion and I do have creativity. But what I kind of feel like what's missing from these ingredients that I could really follow that recipe is time. I am really expert in multitasking. As you can see, I can do a lot with just, by myself. I mean, even this speech was half written in transit, so, And that's okay because I am really an introvert. I don't have children. My husband is equally workaholic. We were constantly just there doing stuff on our own little laptops. And also keeping busy really helps to silence the monster, But it also means that then what I end up kind of cooking with these ingredients that I have to follow that recipe for success is like an appetizer or a side dish or something you nibble on your way to success. It's never like the showstopper 12-course dinner at the Michelin restaurant that's so successful you have to book it years in advance to get into. And apparently this is where the monster has like a problem. And the thing is that the kind of recipes and photos and videos I like to take, they take a lot of time. I mean, these are estimates. And of course, 10 years, it doesn't mean it always took this long. You're gonna see, so definitely didn't take so long in the beginning. But this is like, even I am like, is this really so? But yes, because I like to do things in depth and I like to really develop things. And I often end up doing things even twice because I'm not happy with the first result. And this, like, I'm not really very good at maths. Thank God I'm an art teacher, not a math teacher. But these kind of numbers per one recipe developed and the visuals that go along and everything else, it's kind of nuts. Well, at least, I mean, this is the proof of the passion right there. But let's say I've been doing this for 10 years. I've written like 800 blog posts with recipes, and I've been on Instagram almost daily, posting almost daily for the 10 years time. It's like, let's not even get there. The calculations are making me like, what is she doing? And of course, at this point, then the monster comes into the scene. And it starts to tell me like, what are you doing like with all this time and effort? You should really have your face on a product, or you should have like a really thriving food photography business. I mean, where's your cookbook? You could have written plenty of cookbooks with all those recipes. And at least there should be like an award for persistency, right? But no, that's wrong. Because the thing is, I started food blogging out of the passion for food and the joy of sharing. And sadly, or well, lucky, it's not sad, it's very privileged and lucky, I started getting income out of this work really early on. And that at that point, this kind of turned into sort of second job or second career. And as such, I really am not very successful at it. And the thing is, I really can't be, because I already have this full-time job. And I'm really passionate about that one too. So I'm an art teacher, a full-time teacher. That's my passion and my priority. So over the years, I've been very lucky to have all these really nice offers and really good opportunities, and they could have advanced my second career into all kinds of places, who knows. But I have had to say no to a lot of things, despite, not because of the monster, but just because of practicalities. And that kind of leaves it to, if I want to do any kind of business and make any kind of money, I have to really be selective and then just pick clients that actually fit my values, but also my schedule, which is pretty full because teaching takes a lot of energy from an introvert. So I end up saying no a lot, even if I did want to say yes. And besides, I'm already kicking myself for not getting better data, that measurable data of my success. As it is, so if this was all I did, it was my only source of income, I don't think I could take it, and I know the monologues of the monster would be totally out of control. So I keep nibbling those appetizers instead, because obviously the main course is already set. Well, the monster doesn't really care about these realities. It only cares about the hypothetical ideal me in an ideal world and what I could achieve under these miraculous circumstances. And it does not accept excuses. So I've really ended up with this self-imposed pressure. Yeah, at this point, I was practicing this speech with my husband, and I really started crying, whoa, what? This is horrible. But don't worry, there is definitely an upside to this. Because, this is 2013. This is where I started from, and I started blogging really impulsively. I didn't really think about that name either. It was like a private joke because I had just divorced. And I didn't really think that I'm stuck with it for this long. Well, anyway, like I said, already at this point, I luckily this platform gave me a lot of views. I got that really good data instantly, and then that meant I already got instantly this kind of clients. And for some reason, I don't know why they wanted, there was a client who wanted me to do something for them that my skill level really was not up to the level. This is my very first Instagram picture, and the recipe is still good, but honestly, is she an art teacher? I don't know. Yes. But so I messed up something very badly, but instead of listening to that raging monster, I just decided I'm gonna get better. I need to get better. And so I did. So I'm just going to show you a couple of my work that really took me up to that 36 hours for various reasons, and that I am, even with the monster inside of my head, these are the kind of things I'm really proud of and I'm happy with. This one is the first one. It's a recipe for pumpkin soup that was seasoned with Japanese curry and coffee. And the recipe development took some time, and then I just gave myself the permission to really go all in and take the time to shoot it exactly like I want to and really edit it, and yeah. And then this is another one, an example of a client work, and if there is a client work, then I definitely use that maximum amount of time because I really don't want to disappoint them, and I try to do everything in my power to succeed. And this, often I fail because the platform is not really loving sponsored content, but this one was really successful. And this is an example of when I do something, sometimes if I don't post it immediately and a little time passes, then I get yeah, I don't really like these pictures anymore, let me take them again. And this one, it's one of my very latest works. It's a green gauge plum liqueur, kind of homemade umeshu. And it takes a year to get ready, so 36 hours is not enough for this. But yeah, I had those pictures already done, but I just had to take them again, and I'm glad I did because I really like the results. So let's see. It's kind of obvious. I am a perfectionist. If you didn't grasp it already, let's just put it out there. I know I am. But then that means I struggle with limits. Like those previous examples, I just did everything for as long as I actually could. I don't accept anything done half-heartedly. The monster certainly doesn't. And if I have this unlimited time, I will use it all up until I run out of time and have to stop. And more often than not, I'm still not happy. But that's also super sad. But there is also an upside to this. Because of course, I don't, like I said in the beginning, oh, not the beginning, time is the problem often for me because I really can use all the time there is and still keep going. But in reality, that's not possible. So I also often create in a really big hurry. Like this one took me 30 minutes. And that means setting up the scene with the flash and everything. And then coming up with this genius way to create this fantastical scene, which is just a pizza box around my head with the hole cut into it. And typically, if I have, I have to use myself as a model because I do everything by myself whenever I can, so I'm the only one available. But this one, I was really happy that only 20 frames, and I got one out of there that I really liked and wasn't too overtly critical about. And it's one of my favorite pictures ever because, well, I just love potato chips, and also I look so happy there, and I was. Okay, starting again. No, not anymore. Oh, okay. Well, we can look at this first. So you saw here quickly, hello, another example of something I've done in a really, really short amount of time. I had a vision. I want to do this smoking Negroni with lots of olives. And I came home from work and it was a sunny day. And back then I didn't have like artificial light yet. So this is shot with the sunlight, and as you know, that can be very, it changes very fast. So for some reason, I just went ahead and did this thing where I'm crouching behind that tiny table you saw earlier, and like just trying to get these hands in good position before the sun moves too far, because then stitching the two pictures together would be too difficult. So obviously I was lucky as well. It could have gone wrong just because of the weather. And then there's this last thing here I want to show you, which I'm not technically maybe the most proud of, but I also love the kind of creative idea I got out of just impulsively, because I'd already shot the recipe. It's like this mushroom orzo sort of risotto made with pasta. And the food there is cold. It was done the day before. I already had all the pictures I actually needed, but I wanted to add this kind of storytelling element and kind of have this kind of witch there somehow. So I came home. I was in a hurry because this is for Halloween, obviously, and Halloween was knocking on the door. Had to get it done really quickly. And I didn't have time to really plan, like, how am I gonna look? So then I just impulsively smeared all this black makeup on my face and found this very creepy sheet mask to whack over there. And I really like the result. It's kind of, well, a tip for your next Halloween outfit, maybe. Okay, now I know we need to circle back to the topic of acceptance. So it is kind of something I struggle with on the daily because of the monster and because of all these realities, and because of also because of being a teacher. You need a lot of acceptance for yourself on the daily. And I have spent most of my adult life actively finding out ways to coexist with the monster, because I can't get rid of it. And let's just call it what it is. It's a troll, it's a bully, it's a saboteur. And unlike, online trolls and bots pushing herbal cure for herpes on my feed or telling me, hey, you want another iPhone, I can't block them, I can't report them, and there's definitely some glitches with the mute function. So I have to really accept this monster being part of my life. I have tried a lot of things. I've tried drowning myself in work. Hello, drown. There we go. Often failing there. But the moment I try to get to sleep, that's when the monster always comes back and gives me a monologue of whatever the current topic is of the day. And obviously the monster loves these kind of unrealistic and unfair comparisons. And creating for platforms where you can always compare yourself with another person and their achievements, it definitely doesn't help. And the monster really doesn't accept anything less than perfect. And that's very unlucky for me, because that perfection is always beyond my reach. So in the eyes of the monster, I will always be underachieving. So why on earth should I listen to any of its bullshit? But sometimes, like here today, I'm actually able to look into what it says. And that's when its words kind of lose power. Because when you kind of take away all these comparisons, I can actually acknowledge that, hey, I am successful. I've been doing all this and spending all this time and creating all this, sometimes better, sometimes worse, but anyway, I've been constantly creating something I'm really passionate about for almost 10 years, whilst being a full-time teacher, during the pandemic years too. So, what's success? It's my personal success story right there. And I am also the best. The best, yes I am, because I am always doing my best, regardless of the circumstances. And sometimes that best is less than it was last time, sometimes it's more, but there's no point in comparing with anything, the ideal me included. And besides, I really like appetizers, Thai side dishes, all those small nibbles between the big meals. Honestly, if I can choose, that's all I'll ever eat. And I'm an adult, so I can choose. Yay. You get a little bit of everything in these mouthfuls. Serving size is small enough that I can eat a lot of things. If I really like something, I'll order a second plate. It won't break the bank. And if I don't like something, it's not the end of the world, because I'm not full yet. And with main courses and those 12-course Michelin dinners, the problem is they can often sound so good on the menu, on the paper, but then you're stuck with this big, often expensive plate, and you do have to eat it all up, or it's really like a waste of resources and money and your time and an opportunity to eat something better. And that's really like the worst case scenario for a foodie. So I'm almost finished now. I hope there is something you can take away from what I've been talking here. Firstly, if you have this kind of inner monster or even an outer one, really maybe focus on the words they use and really put them under a spotlight and scrutinize them. Do they stand up for scrutiny in the real world? Is there a way to flip the narrative? And like with online trolls, often maybe the words are coming out of fear, and maybe the monster just needs a hug. And on that note, I don't want to hug it out with my monster tonight, and I know it will be giving me monologues about how awfully I did. So I just have one little request before I end. And that's if you had any, I don't know, if this gave you anything to think about or maybe related to you somehow, can you maybe again give me a little sign? So. You know what that means tonight? I can tell the monster to shut the F up because I didn't waste your time. So, thank you so much. Let's put on my tag.
I'm gonna give you a hug. Okay.
Let me put on my tag and say I want to get rid of the monster. Okay, thank you so much for listening.
Now it's time for the questions.
Yes, okay.
Immediately.
Okay.
And I will give you a hug.
Oh.
And then halataan. It's so funny because we have the workshop downstairs and I just see the continuum. Participants nodding, it's the continuum like of, because they talk about their fear, but we didn't have time, but you talk about the fear. But first of all, you're amazing.
Oh.
And I want to say like it's so funny that in this fast-paced world how we forgot how actually success really comes from, because we always think like, hey, the Instagram post, it's all instant. It's like,
Oh,
it's
far from it.
It's eight people, 36 hours.
Yeah.
Which means I don't, because I'm also a side hustler right now.
Side-
I definitely feel you.
Okay.
And it takes such much time, and people just don't understand how much hard work is behind you. So
Yeah.
I would say give her a round of applause again.
Thank you. Oh. It's not always 8 hours. I mean, with the potato chips, you saw there's no recipe. I didn't make them myself, though I would love to. Any other questions? Anything?
I'll go. As also a fellow introvert, I would say thank you. I think it rings true to my own experiences as well. But since it's kind of the extroverted way of going about things is considered kind of subjectively, objectively good, is there something, what are the good sides, like being an introvert in working life or in as an art teacher or on doing like your producing content and so on, and like the networking part that you also mentioned, it works, that you have social skills. Are there good sides? Is there something positive? And similarly, is there something positive in the monster? Do you find something good in that too?
Well, obviously the monster is part of the reason I've been pushing myself. So I don't think I would ever have developed my skills this far, even though I love like cooking and everything, but the monster is there kind of like, hey, you can do better. So unless the monster is getting into like really nasty stuff, it's been kind of helping me. Related to being like introvert, well, I mean, all those PR situations, networking, it's really tough for me. Like, I really struggle with it. But the thing is, you can always spot another introvert, and then you can connect with them. And then you can have really deep and meaningful connections with people if you get them kind of one-on-one. But a big room full of people, it's more difficult to navigate. And as a teacher, I think it's also kind of same, because extroverts get a lot of the space and time and attention from a teacher, obviously. So because I spot also the students who are more quiet, and then still, of course, they also would like to get attention from the teacher. I think that helps. If I were really an extrovert, maybe I wouldn't kind of think about it. So at least I hope I kind of take everybody into consideration better, because I'm kind of acknowledge the quiet, silent people who are sitting in the corner like I am in all these PR events. Yeah. Anything else?
I really hope there will be a recipe.
Oh, well, maybe. At least when I retire. Yeah.
There was a question at the back.
Yes. So, first of all, I'd like to share I really enjoy the pictures you've taken. I love the food you present, because I love food as well, particularly the picture with the potato chip. I totally get that. I think you're sharing that how much you enjoy the potato chip. Secondly, may I humbly propose that in addition to making pictures, as an artist, maybe you can use other ways like videos or streaming to share your passion for food and creativity with food with more audience so we can interact with you more. Because I think this new ways of interaction will allow the more audience, reach more audience and let them to share passion, understand your passion better. So just my like personal feeling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know I like this kind of interaction. I think I would be more successful if I wasn't so reserved. I don't really show my persona that much online, partially because I am a teacher and I already had my students found my social media, and I really don't I prefer to keep it out of my teaching. So I'm not like one of these influencers who is constantly on the screen and talking about everything and being really open about things. But it is true, if like I was focusing on only the food, then I don't think I would have a problem. It's just maybe the amount of time to do videos is just like, at least for me, it's like even more, in a way at least. So. Again, like that could be something I do if I'm not teaching, but at this moment I'm sticking to what I know best, because at least that comes automatically already at this point.
Oh,
One more.
Hey, I'm Jella's sister. I just
Hey.
want to say I have an amazing sister.
Oh.
And I also have a question, because I know you're an art teacher and you work with kids, so how do you see the future of acceptance? Are the kids that you teach, do they have the same kind of monsters, or do we have a different kind of generation that says?
Well, good question. I think many of them have these little monsters, and children maybe are still learning to regulate this kind of, it comes out more. I think I can kind of fake it that, no, what monster? No, not here. But I think the future generations are more accepting in general, and that's really wonderful. I can see that definitely in the school, that everybody is accepted. It's not even like a big thing. Oh, you like this, you like that, fine, no problem. No, I mean, not 100%, but way more than, for instance, when I was growing up or going to school in the 80s. So there is definitely hope, and maybe I should, I try to also be more kind of open, vulnerable at school, so I can be a role model about accepting not everything has to be perfect. And I'm really good at giving that to others. I'm not expecting anybody to do perfect except myself. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.